Hey guys, so it has been a hot minute since I've made a video, and some of you follow me on social media, so you kind of know like what's been going on with my life. But for those of you that don't know me personally, I have a lot to update on. So we're just gonna like jump right in, I guess. I don't even know where to start. Since I have posted, have had another baby. He is 2 years old now. I moved out of New York to a new state. I am no longer with my now ex-husband. I took some time for myself and my children and to heal, and I'm currently now in a new relationship and we are engaged. We'll get into that in a minute. So a lot has just happened. I guess I will kind of get into like a separate video about my son and my journey with my pregnancy and him in a separate video. But for now and today, we will talk about me relocating, how that all happened, and where my kids and I are now. So my son was born October of 2019, and the situation with his father, my ex-husband, was a very rocky one, to say the least. I don't want to go into too much detail because I want to respect, obviously, firstly, my privacy and my children's privacy, and like secondly his, but mostly mine and my kids. So my son is a blessing, and I don't regret my decision to have him. But my ex-husband and I had no business having another baby. Our marriage had been over for years, and I think that both of us were trying to save something that just wasn't there anymore. We had gotten together when we were 19. We got married when we were 25. We're 34 now, and it was just long overdue. Our separation was long overdue. So yeah, my son was born October of 2019, and I left New York right in the middle of the pandemic. I moved the end of May, beginning of June 2020. My purpose for moving was 100%. I just wanted to be closer to my sister. I didn't really want to. I was very hesitant with moving to the state that she was in. But I had no one left in New York, and my sister was just the only person that I relocated for. So I moved, me and my 3 kids. We got a 3-bed, 2-bath townhouse. And I just set it up for us and was living like this new life as a single mom of 3. I'm sorry, I keep saying but a few weeks after moving, I was hanging out with my sister a lot, and I love my sister. I love her husband. I love my nephews. But there was just like, I was just missing, like, I hadn't gone out with like friends in years. Like I just hadn't had that adult time. I was so focused on being a mom, and just trying to find myself and me outside of who I was as a mother, or like this newly divorced woman. So I had a friend. He and I went to high school together, And through social media, I had known that he had lived in the same state that I had just moved to, but I didn't know like the area. Like I don't know anything about like where I'm at. So one day, randomly messaged him, and like we just were friends through social media. Like we were friends in high school, but then we didn't like keep like in contact with anybody, like with one another at all. We just, social media friends. So I randomly messaged him and I was like, hey, like I just moved to the area. Like, are you still out here? Like, I really just need a friend. And he replied right back. And he was like, yeah, like I'm in this area. So like I looked it up and it's like 40-ish minutes from like where I'm at. So, like not super close, but not super far either. And was just like, hey, like one day let's hang out. Let's, whatever. So he messaged me and he was like, do you want to go grab a beer? I don't like beer. I don't like beer at all. But I was like, yeah, sure. Like, cause I just wanted like a friend. I just wanted to have like an adult time. So we hung out, got a beer. I babysat mine the whole time. I didn't drink it at all. I ended up ordering myself some French fries. And then he went his way. I went my way. And we didn't talk for like a few months. Like he'd check in every now and again, like, hey, like his niece and my oldest daughter are the same age. So he would always say like, hey, let's get them together. And I just like, not that, like, I knew that I looked at him as just a friend, but I didn't want it to like go anywhere. And I was just so focused on me and myself and my kids that I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I just would, hang out with my sister. But I remember like one day, a few months after like we had hung out for some beers, he had messaged me or FaceTimed me, and we were just on the phone for hours and just talking. And I couldn't even tell you now what it was that like we were talking about. We were just on the phone for hours. And I remember like hanging up the phone that night and I'm like, I haven't had a FaceTime like that with anyone, like other than my sister or like my best friends, but like to talk to someone like that, I hadn't talked to anybody like that in so long that it was just like, okay, could this be something? So we just, texting back and forth, flirty text here, flirty text there. And there was another night he was like, hey, like I want to hang out. And I went out because again, like I was so focused on like me and my kids that I hadn't had a night out since that night that we had gotten beers. And he says to me that he has a test for me. And I'm just like, all right, like what is the test? And he's like, I'm going to kiss you. And, either we're both going to feel something or we're both going to feel nothing. And he was like, if we feel something, then it's a conversation that we need to have. And if we feel nothing, then we're just friends. We'll forget it ever happened. Like, we just continue with our friendship. So I was a little reluctant, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. So it didn't happen. Like, in that moment, we hung out. We went out to dinner, I think it was, or something. And we went back to his place to just, whatever, like, watch TV. I think we were watching My 600-Pound Life or something. That was, like, one of my favorite shows. And I was just, like, obsessed with it. And I was like, I want to watch My 600-Pound Life. And while we were watching the show, he just grabbed my face and kissed me. And I think him and I both knew in that moment that there was something to talk about. I think we both felt it in that moment. So even after, I need to like adjust because I'm like super uncomfortable. That's too high. Okay, wait. Even in that moment, like after the kiss happened, it was still like, we didn't talk for a week or so, just because again, like I didn't want it to go anywhere. Not that I didn't want it to go anywhere. I wasn't ready for it to go anywhere. I was very scared and almost traumatized, if you will, from my marriage that had ended. And he was very patient and was like, I don't want to push you into anything that you're not ready for, but I do have feelings for you, and I think that you have feelings for me too. So I think that there's something that we need to do with those feelings. So it started off very, very, very slow, and we would almost like hang out in groups because it was just how I felt more comfortable. Like I didn't want to do too many like one-on-ones, so we would hang out in groups. And it just like I don't want to like sound cliche and be like the rest is history, but it has just been a like the healthiest relationship that I have ever been in. So fast forward May 6th of 2021, with the help of my sister and with permission from my daughters, he asked me to marry him. And obviously I said yes. So I'm going to show you guys my ring. She is an oval cut. I think the center stone is a 2-carat diamond. And then if you look closer, there are round and marquise diamonds in the band. And it is 18-carat yellow gold. So that is her. Making sure you guys can see her really pretty. And then currently we have our wedding planned for 2022. That is kind of like the biggest update that I have for you guys. So let me know if you have like any like detailed questions that you want like myself or him to answer, and we'll get into it. But I promise I'm going to try to not let this channel just go like I have in the past. I think that I'm finally at a point in my life where I am ready to just dive right into it. Thanks for watching, guys.